even if we rise 10 times lesser than that of 2017 here, we will actually manage to reach around $13 to $15. We will be looking at charts to understand the different patterns, the price fluctuation, and the time duration taken previously in 2017 here, and the consolidation and the bearish phase of that cycle, and the current consolidation and bearish cycle. It is not just to play around with the head and shoulder pattern here, but being an XRP optimistic, I would like to show you guys what I just noticed in this chart. So for example, that head and shoulder pattern there is kind of something similar to this here. See, this just happened in March 2017. We had a head and shoulders pattern which is similar to what we are having now, and we kind of breached just below that, but we were supported at the previous resistance level and then started the bounce. Now if we actually look at the same thing here in the current scenario, we have something similar, but at the same time what you have to notice is there is a previous resistance line running which is now acting as a support. Now the trend line support, now we can call this a trend line support. So the trend line support along with the horizontal support line here is kind of supporting the price here. So if the buyers are able to push the price a bit high and move above this one, I'll be optimistic. But at the same time, you also have to consider there is a resistance here which we broke to, like previously was a support zone, but when we broke below that, now it's a resistance. So we'll have to get back, retest this area, and if we manage to come above this one, that is actually a positive news. But if we get rejected from this level, then that is an area of caution. Finally, we'll look into patterns as of now, where we are, like what we can see in the charts as of now. See, this is today, that's 11th March 2020, and what we are getting here in RSI. So what that implies, if we look back in a weekly chart to understand what the RSI is actually showing us, we'll actually analyze through that and try to discuss and point out all the key factors here which we discussed previously in the last couple of videos. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Before we jump deep into the charts, I would like to show you a couple of tweets from Cryptopolis and another one from Ian Northing. So the Cryptopolis is actually showing you that federal agencies to regulate digital assets, now they are actually clarifying. Now this happened on 9th of March 2020. So that's a positive news. Regulations are coming. They are looking at it as the market is crashing. Because when the market is crashing, they have liquidity issues and they are looking at some sort of a new technology to get support on. Now at the same time, there is another tweet from Cryptopolis showing you two aspects, one of BTC and another one of XRP. And here you can see that for BTC, the volume is actually dropping, and whereas we have an increasing volume here, and mostly when the volume is increasing, that is showing you the underlying strength of the buyers. If you guys recognize value from this video, please do like, subscribe, and press the bell notification icon. In this chart, we'll actually look at the overall picture first and then zoom in to check the individual cycles. Say the first one, when we are looking at it in this zoomed out perspective, what we can see is we had a fake out here, we had something similar here, we had another fake out to the bottom here, we had something similar here. Now what you have to understand is from this top of the cycle to this capitulation, it took 731 days. And if you look at the same from the peak of this cycle to the capitulation, ending of capitulation, if we consider this as capitulation and the start of next cycle, that took somewhere similar, that is 737 days. Now if you look at the drop in percentage, see that was around 94%, this one was around 96%. The reason for that is this is the low of this cycle, whereas the low of this cycle was here. Now another difference which I want to point out is this is, yeah, I agree, the top of this cycle, and this one is the top, but here that was the first pump, here that was the second one. So if we consider this two, then we'll have to add 228 days here. So the number of days taken from the first pump to the capitulation actually increases there. Now when we actually zoom in to understand and look at this first cycle, what we can see is we had a fake out here, went below that and came back into the trading range before we moved into a new trend. Now it took some time there, but as we can see that here we just made that capitulation here. If we consider this as an entire capitulation, that to an extended capitulation from this, then we need to go into another trend from here. But if we look at it like this, say for example, this is the capitulation area and this is the start of a new trend. Now when we look at the markup from the previous cycle, what we can see is that we took around 313 days and we reached around 75,000%. Now considering what we just discussed in yesterday's video or the recent video, if we actually pump something similar in a pattern which we are following as of now, that would be like 10 times lower than that. And if we consider that, say for example 313 days, which will be somewhere here, and at the same time 10 times lower than that, say we managed to get around 7,500% in 313 days, so that would be somewhere around $13 to $14 around the end of around late 2020. Now when we are considering this $13 to $15, don't think that's too much, because when we look back here, this 7,400, which is even lower than that of first run up high here, which was around about 8,000%. Even if we get just this first pump for the entire cycle of the next one, will actually reach around $13 to $15. So the ROI, if you're actually going in somewhere here or even somewhere here, that is huge. No traditional market is going to give you that as of now, because traditional markets are crashing. So yes, there are safe haven assets which you can jump in, like silver, which has a better chance compared to gold as of now. So if you're considering that, do think about the ROI and your risk. If you guys find value out of this content, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, do obliterate that like button.